Hello everybody, Josh12 back here again with another video, and I'm here with my official review for Dragon Ball Super Episode 44. Now, of course, if you haven't seen this episode, please go check it out because this review may contain spoilers. But that being said, let's get into the newest episode of Dragon Ball Super. Now, this episode, episode 44, it's a mixed bag for me, mostly for two reasons. Number one, this episode kicked ass. It was pretty freaking good, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, for a filler episode, this was really freaking good. However, this review might transition into a rant because even though I love this episode for its fun and entertainment value, there's a lot of shit that's in this episode that pisses me off for various reasons, and hopefully everyone who's listening or watching this fucking review can, bear with me. But with that being said, the overall episode is essentially, Kid Trunks and Kid Goten get stuck in Monaka's truck for some god-awful reason and end up going to a planet that's distant away from Earth, of course, where Monaka, as we've learned in these filler episodes, or at least in this series, that he's a freaking delivery boy, and essentially he's delivering some packages to this alien, while simultaneously this alien is having some kind of grand war with this other group of aliens, and Kid Trunks and Kid Goten are essentially stuck in the crossfires of these aliens fighting each other, and Vegeta has to go, obviously, help and save Goten and Trunks from this peril that they ironically enough can't handle themselves for some reason, and then that's where it transitions into Vegeta having to fight a copy of himself, which is definitely interesting, which will transition into more filler episodes. And at the end of the day, this episode, you would think, looking at the trailers or even looking at the description that I even gave, which was a half-assed summary, this episode was really freaking good. I want to start off with the positives before I start ranting. Number one, the animation kicked ass. The artwork looked fucking phenomenal. There was a lot of tricks and cool transitions that were put... I mean, this episode was so good. This episode, and I'm guessing the part 2 of this episode, which will be coming out, obviously next week, which will be episode 45, it kind of feels like these are like the closest episodes to a OVA that Super has. I mean, granted, OVAs are very different in comparison to specials and, very different to actual episode, TV shows, but this is kind of like the closest to that because it feels like it's its own contained story within a transition period of sagas to sagas. So this is kind of like the closest thing we have to OVAs to Super thus far, and it was really freaking good. I mean, it was fun, it was entertaining, it was very comedic. I love freaking Monaka's moments. Trunks and Goten were also pretty funny. These new aliens that we got to see were pretty cool because it is pretty nice to see that, even though these are the main characters of this universe, there are multiple universes, as we know, and multiple planets filled with its own, societies and, alien races and, all these kind of crazy things that are dealing with their own stuff outside of the Saiyans and Earthlings dealing with their own things with the gods and what have you. So it was really cool to see something like that. And overall, it was just really badass to see all these characters just, come into another territory and have adventures, side missions, if you will, which is basically what this episode story arc is. It's a side mission outside of the normal sagas that we're waiting for, like Universe 6, and of course the upcoming Trunks saga. But with that being said, let's get into the ranting. Number one that really pisses me off, Trunks and Goten. Why are they still kids? Someone rationally, who's a rational person, please concede to me, why are they still fucking kids? It doesn't make any sense to me that they're still fucking kids. Why is Krillin's kid still a fucking baby? It doesn't make any sense. Pan is already born. They should be already transitioning from, kids to preteens or something like that. Like, at least grow them up, get them a little taller fucking design or something. It's just, it doesn't make any sense that we're going so deep into Super. Like, the closer we get to more story arcs and sagas to fucking Super, the older these characters get, and the closer we get to the end of Z. End of Z is coming out pretty soon. I mean, it's inevitable that we have to go that, because even though Super is its own contained story, it's still taking place within continuity of Dragon Ball Z, in between the end of the Kid Buu arc, and of course, the ending of the freaking last chapters of Z, which of course has, Oob and, the World Tournament again, and Goku going off with Oob and stuff. It's still contained within this, section of the universe and storyline, which is like a 10-year period at best, I guess, if memory serves me correct. So, and if we've already gone like halfway through it, like what else can we really do? And how long are these kids gonna stay the same? I mean, like, granted, it's a Dragon Ball thing. Like, fucking kid characters stay kid characters for a long... I mean, it's cartoons. You know, cartoons characters never really age unless you have a preconceived notion of, like, this character is inevitably supposed to get older. Yeah, they age. And you fucking had it with other characters. I mean, like, Kid Goku was Kid Goku for majority of Dragon Ball until we got to, like, Piccolo stuff. But Gohan, with Z... we got to see his transition of growing up, and he actually grew up through design, through Toriyama's design. So I don't know why they don't do it for these other kids. Why are kids fucking Trunks and Goten, they don't look like teens, they look like little kids still. Granted, you know, the argument could be debated. You know, oh, Saiyans, they don't change, whatever. I get it, I understand it, but it's still like, you know, Pan is born. She's inevitably going to be Kid Pan that we saw at the end of Z. And Trunks and Goten are supposed to be teenagers at that point in time. So, if they're supposed to be teenagers at that point in time, why haven't they aged up design-wise? It just... And you know, the Krillin's kid thing. I mean, what about her? She's not even Saiyan. She's a fucking human, but she looks like every fucking saga passes, she gets younger for some reason. She doesn't even speak. She has no lines. How is that possible? You know, it doesn't make any sense to me. It's stupid. I wish they would change it, but whatever, it is what it is. They want kids to be kids forever, I guess. You know, because... But now we got Pan, so why... I don't know, it doesn't make any sense. It's really annoying. Second thing that really kind of pisses me off with this episode is this alien race and how they're designed and the way these Z characters are incorporated to them. Number one, doesn't anybody feel like this episode kind of felt like a GT episode with these alien society fighting each other? It just felt too GT to me. It felt like a GT episode. Third thing that pissed me off, Goten and Trunks, why can't they kick ass? What happened? This is supposed to be a Goten and Trunks episode, yet they have to have Vegeta come and help them? You're fucking Super Saiyans! You fuse, you become Gotenks! You fucking power up, you become Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks. Why are you fucking needing Vegeta to help you? Like, really, you don't need Vegeta in this episode. You don't need Goku to come help you out. I mean, granted, maybe now you do because there's this copy Vegeta that we found out in the later, you know, ending of this episode, which could be interesting and could come up for some more fun, entertaining value for next week's episode, but it still doesn't make sense to me how Trunks and Goten get themselves into this debacle. Number one, you're stuck in the truck. Okay, can't you just blast your way out of there? Why are you just hanging out the second you find out, like, oh, it's locked, well, let's take a nap? It's like, no, you fucking Super Saiyans, blast your fucking way out of there, come on. Stupid. These aliens, they suck, they're not even that strong, their blasters do nothing to you. They don't do anything. What are you doing? Super Saiyan up, kick their fucking ass. What are you doing? You need Vegeta to help you? You're flying away trying to help this old asshole with a pacifier? What's with the pacifier? Once again, it kind of goes back to that, like, GT humor. It's that toy animation humor without the fucking Toriyama-ness. It just, if that's even a term, it just doesn't make any sense to me. It was stupid. I don't know. It just angered me. It really angered me, and it really annoyed the crap out of me. Granted, yes, this episode was fun and entertaining, and the animation was good. And that's another thing that kind of serves my purpose for ranting, which is, why is the animation artwork so freaking good with this episode? Why? Now, you might make the argument like, well, it wasn't that good. It was good, but it wasn't, like, amazing. Granted, I mean, like, toy animation, you know, or, like, whoever animates this, like, animates different from another animation company. There's just various different kind of artists. But when you think about it, this episode was pretty freaking good when it comes to the animation artwork department. It is. It was pretty good. And that's not to say that, you know, previous episodes completely suck ass. There's some pretty good episodes out there with some good animation artwork. I comment on them. However, this is a filler episode that has nothing to do with anything. It's a fucking side mission. It's a side story for fun and entertainment purposes. It's not really serious. I mean, like I said, like Trunks and Goten, if they got their head out of their asses, they can pretty much take care of themselves without that shit. Granted, now there's this copy Vegeta, but whatever, that's a different story. That's Vegeta's fault. However, Why is I want to curse, but I'm gonna try not to. Why is a side mission filler episode has so much good animation artwork in comparison to other episodes that need to be fucking good? They need fucking great animation artwork, and they don't. Like, why the countless battles between, like, Goku and Hit, or the battles with Frieza, or, like, fucking, the battles with Beerus kind of sucked ass, for the most part, in the animation artwork department. Yet when you have these kind of, like, day in the life kind of whatever episodes, they're freaking good. It baffles me. It baffles me the priority of an animator and an artist and a company and a studio who puts the time and attention to something that doesn't even freaking matter. Granted, that highlight, Goku Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken times 10, that was fucking epic. And I'll give them props for that. But for doing that kind of greatness for, like, whatever episodes, it baffles me. It really does. And that's really all I can say about that. But overall, without my bafflingness and my ranting aside, I still like this episode. It was freaking fun and entertaining. It was stupid. I mean, Vegeta and Bulma, like, hanging out with Jaco, trying to be like, we need to get them back, It was pretty funny. Trunks grabbing that sword was pretty cool. Like, hint, hint, wink, wink, fucking future Trunks, fucking thing. That was pretty freaking cool. I mean, I find it doubtful that's the actual sword that, future Trunks uses. Or it is, or maybe it is. I don't know. The mystery continues. But, It was fucking interesting. It was definitely a very interesting thing. Monaka is pretty cool. Although it doesn't really make sense that, he would continuously still be on the show, considering that, his sole purpose of being a part of the series was to, encourage Goku's training. But now that Goku knows that he's kind of a, he's a wimp and he's a giant, silly little pea, if you will. It's kind of just unnecessary to have him. So, I don't know. It is what it is. But overall, this episode was kind of just a whatever throwaway, like, side mission, side story in between the transition period that we are in. And I just really want to speed this shit through and get right into the hardcore shit, because Future Trunks is coming. I want to see that shit more than anything else right now when it comes to Super. So far, these filler episodes have been good. I mean, filler episodes in general when it comes to Super have been pretty consistent in the fun and entertainment value, but it's time to fucking get into some fucking awesome, serious, original, dramatic stories with fucking characters that we love, and, none of this, like, side mission space GT shit. No, none of that. We want some Future Trunks action. At least that's what I want. Let me know what you personally think. My final verdict for this episode has to be a solid 7 out of 10. It was a pretty freaking fun, entertaining, good episode with some good animation artwork. Granted, there's a lot of things that baffle me, like Goten and Trunks not being able to take care of themselves, Vegeta coming in for some reason. There's just a lot of things that do baffle me with this episode, but that doesn't mean it's not a good episode. It is. It's a good episode. And it was fucking hilarious to the most part, but there are things that do piss me off, and I did want to mention them, but let me know what you personally think about it. At the end of the day, comment below. Let me know what you personally think, but my final verdict stands as a solid 7 out of 10. And let me know what you personally think. I'm very interested to see how this transitions into the, I guess you could say, part 2 to this side mission story in the Super series, which is, I'm guessing we're going to see, like, Goku versus this copy Vegeta or whatever, which could be cool. Granted, I don't know how much power this copy Vegeta could have. Like, does he have all the powers of Vegeta, or is he just his own I don't know. We'll see what happens. But hopefully it kicks ass in the animation artwork department, because if we're going to get like a Goku versus Vegeta kind of thing next week, or at least with the next episode, that could be some boss shit, regardless of the ridiculousness. It could be pretty freaking cool, so let's see what happens. But overall, let me know what you personally think in the comment section below. Shameless plug time. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Jonch12. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. And hope you guys enjoyed. And this has been Jonch12.